Hello everyone, welcome to Advanced Knowledge Systems and a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy, which is one of the premier institutions in India, and it offers examination coaching for UPSC CSC, State Public Service Commission, SSC combined graduate level exams and CLAT examination. And about me, I'm Sandeep Bhushan Tumala and my credentials are I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I take up international relations and internal security and the analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And this session is in regards to the DNA, that is daily news analysis of the Hindu, that is today's of 18th February 2021. And in this session, I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases from the newspaper, which wherein we will identify the factual, analytical, and conceptual questions which will be useful for prelims examination. And while we imbibe these keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing, your answers for the mains examination would be precise and concise, and thereby you would score higher marks in the mains examinations. And this session at AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis will certainly help you to crack both prelims and mains for the 2021 UPSC examination. And before we get into the DNA of the newspaper, we would focus at the quote of the day. And the quote of the day says that to win the game, just remain in the game. So, what is very important is whenever you wanted to have success, make sure that you are doing the things which are required to get success. To win the game, just remain in the game. And now we'll get into the DNA of the newspaper. And here we would be looking at a case which has been filed by former Union Minister M.J. Akbar against a journalist named Priya Ramani for her tweets accusing former Union Minister M.J. Akbar for sexual harassment. And this case was filed in the year 2018, and a Delhi High Court has said that the criminal defamation case which was filed by the former Union Minister, he has said that this has given a relief to the journalist Priya Ramani for her tweets in regards to making it clear or open to the world that through the tweets that there was a sexual harassment by former Union Minister M.J. Akbar. And the additional chief metropolitan magistrate has said that in throwing out a criminal defamation case against former Union Minister, he said that the women has a right to put a grievance at any platform of her choice, and it can be grievance can be put forward even after decades, and this can be done in the public interest and for the public good. And this was the statement made by the additional chief metropolitan magistrate of a Delhi court. And the court also has observed that despite how well a respected persons or few persons in the society they may be, but in regards to the personal lives, that individual well respected persons could show some kind of extreme cruelty to the females, and thereby it has Delhi High Court has put forth saying that the defamation case has been thrown away, and then it is that the women has a right to put a grievance at any platform of a choice even after decades. And the court also has focused on the keyword, that is right to life and dignity of women. So we will be focusing on the right of dignity, which the verdict of the court of a Delhi High Court has put forth in regards to the defamation case filed by former Union Minister M.J. Akbar. And the court has said that the women cannot be punished for raising voice against the sex abuse, and on the pretext of this, a criminal complaint of defamation cannot be filed, as a right of reputation cannot be protected. That means when you are filing a defamation case, it is a right of reputation, and right of reputation of the defamation case cannot be protected at the cost of right to life and dignity of women, which are enshrined in the Constitution of India. The court or the Delhi Additional Chief Metropolitan Court has focused or it has emphasized on the right of life and dignity of a woman, and then it has pronounced the judgment against the defamation case or the right of reputation case filed by former union minister. And this was raised by Miss Ramani at a movement called as Me Too movement in the year 2018, accusing MJ Akbar of sexual harassment. And the court also has acknowledged that the Me Too movement has provided a platform to women who were sexually harassed so that they can break their silence, as Miss Ramani was one of the such women in India who has spoken against the sexual harassment in the workplace. So here the keyword is criminal defamation case and right of reputation, right of life and dignity of women. These are the keywords which you need to focus from prelims polity perspective. And there is another news which talks about granting an transit anticipatory bail. So this is the keyword, transit anticipatory bail has been provided by the Bombay High Court to the Nikita Jacob, who is a climate campaigner. Who has worked with the climate campaigner, that is Greta Thunberg. And here, this case is in regards to that a toolkit which was provided by the climate campaigner Greta Thunberg, which is related to the farmers' protest. And the Nikita Jacob was arrested or was planned to be arrested, and then the Bombay High Court has granted the transit anticipatory bail of for 3 weeks to advocate Nikita Jacob. And this is the keyword what we need to focus for polity, that is UPSC perspective, that what is transit anticipatory bail which has been granted by the Bombay High Court to advocate Nikita Jacob. And the single judge bench of Justice P.D. Nayak of a Bombay High Court has granted a relief of a transit anticipatory bail for 3 weeks and said that Miss Jacob was involved in preparing the toolkit. Please do understand here, the court has said, that is the single judge bench has said, Nikita Jacob was involved in preparing the toolkit. But that doesn't mean that, or there is no, or it did not contain any violent acts or anything pertaining to taking over the Red Fort on 26th January in regards to the tractor rally which was organized by the farmers. So the single judge bench or the Bombay High Court has pronounced as saying that she was involved in preparing the toolkit, but the toolkit did not contain any violent acts or anything pertaining to taking over the Red Fort. So thereby the Bombay High Court has granted the transit anticipatory bail. And the advocate who is appearing for Nikita Jacob, that is senior advocate Mihir Desai, had submitted the order of Justice Vibha Kankanwadi of the Aurangabad bench. Please do understand here. Here we are talking about the Bombay High Court. Again we are talking about Aurangabad bench. So the advocate appearing for Nikita Jacob has submitted the order of the Aurangabad bench, which has granted 10 days transit anticipatory bail to Nikita Jacob and also the one who has been co-accused along with Nikita Jacob, that is Shantanu Muluk, in the same case. Here what we need to understand or what we need to focus is that the advocate appearing for Ms. Jacob has submitted the order. Which order? It is the transit anticipatory bail which was provided or given by Aurangabad bench and then given to Bombay High Court. In turn, Bombay High Court has granted transit anticipatory bail. So we will focus at what is transit anticipatory bail as a keyword, and how the order which was submitted by Aurangabad bench has been again provided by the advocate, senior advocate appearing for Nikita Jacob in Bombay High Court. So we will look at what is transit anticipatory bail. So as per section 438 of CRPC, that is Code of Criminal Procedure, this talks about, or else section 438 of CRPC grants bail to a person who is anticipating arrest. So that means a person who is already anticipating that there could be an arrest by the police. So in that scenario, the application for such bail can be made before a high court or a sessions court. Whenever any individual feels that he or she may be arrested on any kind of accusation of having committed a non-bailable offense. Please do understand. Whenever he or she may be feeling that the person can be arrested on accusations of having been committed a non-bailable offense, in that scenario, an individual can go ahead with applying for a grant of bail. Whenever a person is expecting or anticipating an arrest under section 438 of Code of Criminal Procedure, and this transit anticipatory bail is sought when a case against a person has been or is likely to be filed in a different state from the one he or she is likely to be arrested. That means the one who is been arrested, if suppose in X state, but the case has been filed in a different state, that is Y state. So in that scenario, the transit anticipatory bail is likely to be filed in a state different from one which he or she is likely to be arrested. And the purpose of the transit bail is to allow a person with a bail so that the person can approach the appropriate court in the state in which the case has been filed for anticipatory bail. So here it is from or between two states wherein the case has been filed and the state wherein the arrest of the person can take place, from one state where he or she is residing or staying and the state in which the case has been filed. So in this case, the individual can have the privilege of applying for the transit anticipatory bail under section 438 of CRPC, and this is again crucial information for polity UPSC prelims perspective. That is, in regards to the keyword, which among the following statements are incorrect in regards to the transit anticipatory bail. So you will have four options. So you know now in what scenario the transit anticipatory bail can be applied by an individual. And there is another news in regards to the midday meal and integrated child development services. And you have another keyword which is called as aspirational districts. And these aspirational districts have been identified for gearing up or for providing children's nutrition or nutrition for children's. And 5 aspirational districts in Rajasthan have been identified and they are now geared up to improve the nutritional status of children. This is a keyword. The aspirational districts which have been identified are gearing up to improve the nutritional status of children. How? By distribution of fortified rice. This is another keyword, that is fortified rice. And this nutritional status of children will be improved by the distribution of fortified rice through 2 schemes, that is midday meal scheme and through ICDS, that is integrated child development services. And this initiative of fortified rice to be distributed through the midday meal and integrated child development services in the 5 aspirational districts has been launched, or certainly now it has been identified and it will be launched in April 2021. And when we focus again in regards to the keyword, what we are talking about, the fortified rice. So there could be a question that which among the following statements are incorrect in regards to the fortified rice. So this fortified rice, it will be supplied by or from the godowns of the FCI with an estimated of 4,551 metric tons for the midday meal scheme and 77,736 metric tons for ICDS. So this is the information, factual information, which could be part of your prelims UPSC question, that which among the following statements are incorrect in regards to the fortified rice which has been identified to distribute through the midday meal scheme and ICDS for improving the nutritional status of children. So it is 4,551 metric tons for midday meal scheme and 77,736 metric tons for integrated child development services. This is one statement you can consider. And these 5 aspirational districts which have been selected in Rajasthan state is being done by Niti Aayog. Please do understand, it is being selected by Niti Aayog, and the 5 districts are Baran, Dholpur, Jaisalmer, Kaurali and Sirohoi. And these are the 5 districts which are aspirational districts in Rajasthan. And this fortified rice would have all the contents of iron, zinc, vitamin that is B1 and B12 and folic acid, as well as micronutrients. So the importance of fortified rice is it will have all the sufficient nutrients and also micronutrients which will be provided to the children's for improving the nutritional status through the midday meal and ICDS. And the distribution of fortified rice will be done at the Anganwadi centers, and this would help in removing malnutrition among children and women. This is a very crucial, a welfare scheme which has been taken up by the government to improve the nutritional status of children as well as women. And there is already an online pregnancy and childcare system which is in operative in the aspirational districts in Rajasthan. And for this is in regards to the online pregnancy and childcare system, there are 2 development partners which are associated for the online pregnancy and childcare system. They are UNICEF, that is United Nations Children's Fund, and UNFPA, that is United Nations Population Fund. And these 2 development partners, that is UNICEF and UNFPA, are providing technical assistance for online pregnancy and childcare system. So this information which is crucial for prelims in regards to the nutrition or improving the nutritional status of children and also the women through the midday meal scheme and ICDS. This is very crucial for prelims as well as mains examination. And there is another news which talks about the government is denied, or the government has denied to the Supreme Court that there is any link between the Chardham project and the recent floods which has, or else it is in regards to the glacier burst which has taken up in Rishi Ganga. And the government, that is the Attorney General who was representing the Union governments, K.K. Venugopal, has put forward the response, or he has made a statement in the Supreme Court before a bench led by Justice Rohinton Nariman, saying that, or the government or Attorney General K.K. Venugopal has denied any link between the Chardham road winding project in Uttarakhand and the recent flash floods, that is in regards to the glacier burst in the Rishi Ganga valley. And Attorney General K.K. Venugopal has made a statement or responded to a communication from a high-powered committee. So, high-powered committee is a keyword which this high-powered committee has made a communication, has come up with a communication saying that there is a connectivity with the Chardham project with the recent tragedy which has taken place. And in response to the communication by the high powered committee, the union government, that is Attorney General K.K. Venugopal, who is representing the union government, has denied in the Supreme Court that there is any link between the Chardham road widening project and the recent tragedy in the Rishiganga Valley. And this high powered committee, if you look at, because this is a keyword, we need to focus that the high powered committee was formed to be the eyes and ears of the Supreme Court on the Chardham road widening project. And the road widening project of the Chardham is certainly raised, or it is under the Supreme Court scanner, because the NGO Citizens for Green Dune has raised environmental concerns in the 899 kilometer long Chardham project, that in the process of infrastructure development or to the connectivity to the Chardham projects, there is cutting of trees and there is harm to the fragile Himalayan ecology by widening the existing mountain roads. This was raised by the NGO Citizens for Green Dune in regards to the environmental concerns, and thereby the Supreme Court has constituted a high powered committee to focus or look into the whether there are environmental concerns while cutting of trees in the fragile Himalayan ecology. And thereby the high powered committee has said that there is a link between the Chardham project and to the recent tragedy, and in turn the court has asked the government to respond in 2 weeks. And this is a 899 long project which connects Gangotri, Yamunotri, Kedarnath and Badrinath, and all these are in Garhwal Himalayas. Again, this is from geography, map based, you need to consider, and also in regards to the ecology and environment. This information or this news has to be focused from ecology and environment and also from the geography perspective. So this is the Yamunotri, Gangotri, Kedarnath and Badrinath. So you have the Dauli Ganga, and wherein we have seen that Alaknanda, the recent issue or the recent tragedy which has taken place, and we have seen that the tunnels have been totally washed out. Now the Supreme Court is awaiting for the government to file a response in 2 weeks. And another news is in regards to the US and WHO. So certainly now US has come forward with a new president, that is Joe Biden administration will pay over 200 million US dollars to the World Health Organization, and US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has announced to pay 200 million US dollars to the WHO by the end of this month, that is February. And why US Secretary of State has come up with providing or to pay 200 million US dollars? Because the former US President Mr. Donald Trump has pulled out US from WHO, while he has called WHO as puppet of China, that is in the year 2020. And this process, that is US pulling out of WHO, was supposed to be completed in the mid 2021, but now the president of US Joe Biden has reversed the process of pulling out, that is US pulling out of WHO, and in turn the US Secretary of State has announced that it will go ahead with fulfilling the financial obligations which would be provided to WHO, as US is a member And this announcement is reflecting a renewed commitment for ensuring that WHO has the support which it needs to lead the global response for the COVID 19 pandemic. And in turn, the US is the largest funder to the WHO, and the US funds more than 15% of the total funds which WHO receives. So it is very crucial, and it reflects the renewed commitment of US what it has to do as a member of the WHO. So the Joe Biden administration has come forward to reverse the decision which Donald Trump, former US president, has pulled out from WHO, saying WHO is a puppet of China. And this is as per international relations. You can focus this. And there is another news which talks about the PLI plan. Here the keyword is PLI plan or PLI scheme. The Union Cabinet has approved the Production Linked Incentive Scheme. What is PLI? It is Production Linked Incentive Scheme for telecom sector with an outlay of 12,195 crore for over a period of 5 years. And the implementation of the Production Linked Incentive Scheme in the telephone manufacturer will start from April 1st, 2021. So this is the scheme which has been already in news by the finance minister also, which she has come up saying that it is a crucial scheme wherein it will provide a kind of platform to the foreign investors to invest in India or manufacturing countries or manufacturing units. And the Production Linked Incentive Scheme aims at, we will focus this from prelims as well as mains perspective, how the PLI scheme would be important for UPSC prelims as well as mains examinations. So the aim of the PLI, that is Production Linked Incentive, please do understand, you will have incentive, or the employer, the one who is working, would be provided incentive, only that incentive is linked to the production. So incentive is totally or it is directly proportional to or directly linked to the production. The amount of production, the amount of incentive. So it is the how much hour you work, you will be paid for that. And this scheme aims to make India a global hub for manufacturing telecom equipment. And it is also to lead an incremental production. These are the keyword. Global hub is a keyword. Incremental production, and by incremental production with the PLI incentive or PLI scheme, exports would be increased in over a span of 5 years, and also it will bring in investments of 3,000 crores, that is the foreign investors. And this scheme also aims to generate direct and indirect employment opportunity, and it would also generate tax revenue of 17,000 crore from various telecom equipment manufacturers, that is 4G and 5G next generation radio access network, and with the wireless equipment, and from the customer premises equipment, from Internet of Things, access devices, and various others wireless equipment and enterprise equipment such as switches and routers. All this will provide, or it will be part of the telecom equipment manufacturing, which will generate tax revenue of 17,000 crore is the aim of the PLI scheme. And the another aim is also to balance or to counter the import of telecom equipment. That means to balance the import and to increase the exports. Please do understand, to balance the imports and to increase or incremental production with the exports. And this balancing of imports of telecom equipment worth 50,000 crore is the aim of the PLI, that is Production Linked Incentive Scheme, and the Union government has approved, and the PLI scheme will come into action, or it will be launched in the month of April 2021. So the keywords here is global hub, incremental production, direct and indirect employment, generate tax revenue, and then offset the imports of telecom equipments are the key or the aims of the production linked incentive. This is part of the economy which you need to focus from prelims as well as mains perspective, because there could be a question that which among the following statements are incorrect in regards to the production linked incentive. And there is a question for the mains examination which you can try it. That is, the question is, the women cannot be punished only for raising a voice against the sex abuse, and on the pretext of, or else by going ahead with the complaint, criminal complaint of defamation, which is a right of reputation, cannot be protected, or an individual cannot use the defamation case as a right of reputation to protect himself, and a woman cannot be punished for raising a voice against a sex abuse, because the defamation case cannot be at the cost of right of life and dignity of women, which is guaranteed in the constitution. Comment. So this social issues, part of women empowerment. So you can consider this question and you can try writing an answer, putting forth the recent judgment which the court has mentioned in regards to the defamation case and the right of life and defamation case versus a right of reputation versus right of life and dignity of women. Please do understand, right of reputation versus right of life and dignity of women. This you can focus and then try to write an answer which will be very useful for you in regards to the answer writing practice. And I would say a very big thank you, because this session is certainly will be and helpful for prelims as well as mains examination, as we are focused from both mains and prelims perspective. So I would say a very big thank you and then good luck to you all, and then do maintain consistency, stick to your schedule and take care of your physical health and mental health, and do not forget to like the video, share the video and subscribe the AKS IAS Academy English Medium YouTube channel, and also have access to the website and Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy. And then see you again tomorrow with the DNA, that is daily news analysis at AKS IAS Academy. And then till then, thank you, goodbye, and then take care.